So this presentation is about how to make a presentation and speech. So you decided to give a talk at the conference. Well, sometimes that happens to all of us. But think first. First thing you need to do is to decide what for. To tell about your new invention, new approach, maybe new algorithm, or to share your scientific data. But all of these remained in the past century, in the century of oral communications. Today, in our modern life, we have much more faster ways to share and spread information, like professional groups, professional websites, social media, and other platforms to share information to much more audience than, for example, we have in this room. So when should you go and speak? Only when you really want to make a speech. When you're really ready to use all the possibilities of the personal contact with the audience to send a message, and you really know what your message is about. So today I will tell you about the art of presentation and public speech using the power of a word. But first, 30 million PowerPoint users are all over the world. 30 million of them create presentation every day. Approximately 1 million of them are being presented right now, and most of them here in Skolkovo today. But 50% of them are really absolutely intolerable. Many people execute each other with the bad presentations every day, unintentionally, but regularly. So how to make a presentation which gonna be an effective one and get into the remaining 50%? And what is a presentation that you are not ashamed of? Actually, it's a theater or a stand-up comedy where you should entertain the audience from the scene with your voice, with your gestures, with your mimics and facial expression. It's a popular science show where visitors expect that you will explain the unfamiliar areas to them. It's a movie or animation that you will create and bring with you. And visual part is very important. And it's a coliseum because you run the risk that the smart and unexpected questions from your opponents will tear your reputation in front of the happy audience with the popcorn. So you must be sure that you can perfectly visualize the ideas, speak confidently and clearly, maintain attention of the audience, and entertain the listeners. However, the road to success is much more difficult and is composed of much more steps. From the understanding of the type of presentation, understanding its structure, presenting information, from knowing the material that you're gonna share with your audience. It's about how to overcome excitement and fear, how to set the priorities, how to be compliant with the timing. It's the knowledge of nonverbal communication, practice, and of course, it's about how to conclude correctly your presentation. So let's go through all of these steps today. So we decided to make a presentation. And the first thing we need to do is to understand the type of presentation. Understanding the type of presentation, we can roughly understand its volume. So it's really not much types of presentation. It's a lecture, like a state-of-the-art scientific report and video presentation or case report. So if we're talking about the lecture or state-of-the-art, it usually no more than 20, 30 minutes. Scientific reports is about 10 or 50 minutes. And video presentation or case report, it's about 5-7 minutes, and you can see the video presentation on the last day of NFS. During the video session, you will see that each of them are no longer than 6 minutes. So the next step is understanding the structure. When structuring a presentation, we have three main questions: how to start, how to present the main idea, and how to finish. And these three questions correspond to the three main parts of any presentation. It's introduction, the main part, and conclusion. And if we will characterize each of them, then the introduction should be strong, striking, and vigorous. So you can start with the image, with a famous quote, with the video. So when you go to the scene and start to entertain with the audience, you should start strong. You should have an attention of the audience after the speakers when the audience was really sleeping. So then when we talk about the main part, it should be informative. And this information should be easy to perceive for the audience. And you should maintain the audience attentions with the visuals. If we talk about conclusion, it should be motivating and it should provoke thoughts to your audience and better goals. So your audience would go through and leave the conference hall should leave it with a goal, with a new one. But this is not the end. All three parts should be connecting by the logical transitions, because presentation is not a structure, it's a story, and people love stories. So we understand the format, we already have a structure. In fact, we're ready to create. Now we need a presentation template. So what do you think about template? What are the current requirements? And do we really have any requirements? Yes, we have. And these are simple color scheme, also known as black on white. As a minimum of fonts, it's better to use just one during a presentation on all slides. It's a large print. It should be really readable for your audience. It should be minimum text. You can use bullets. And of course, you should think about the text balance on the slide. It's a lack of the background. Usually, if we are talking about the modern presentation, no pictures of the hospital on the backgrounds, emblems, and so on. It's usually take all the attention of the audience. And it's really hard to perceive the main idea of your presentation. And visual associations, they are really important. One is the pictures, videos, animation, and everything which will entertain your audience and which will improve the perception of the information. So let's go through all of these requirements. And the first one is a simple color scheme. It's a rule of black on white, like here. So it's really not white on a black, and it's not green on a blue, and it's not white on the red, and not like this with a whole rainbow, or like this, and not any sunrises on the back of the slides. And we're talking about readable print. So it really should be readable, not like this one, not like this one, and even not like this, because it's really hard to read anything on this slide. If we are talking about the fonts, it should be minimal fonts. Use just one, pick up one font and use this font on all of the slides on your presentation. Not like this. It's here, we can see the 4 fonts on one slide. It's difficult to perceive. If we are talking about the text, it should be minimum text on the slides. So do not create a slide demand. Slide demand is a combination of the slide and a document. People do not want to read the documents when they are attending a conference or a session. They want to get the important information from you, a message. So this is not a message. And this is a slide element too. Or this one. So if you have a lot of information, just divide slide into 2. It's for free. And every time when we have a scientific report or share scientific data, it's difficult to share this information with the audience. And for audience, for participants which are seeing your presentation for the first time or your scientific data, it's even very difficult to understand what you are talking about. So if you have a statistical data, just pick up the most important numbers, or like here. So please highlight the important numbers, 2 or 3. It's gonna be very, very easy to perceive by the audience. Or just, you can use just 4, 3, or 5 statistical data on your slide, so that the audience should understand what you are talking about. So the text ratio on the slide is an important thing too. So do not do like this. If you have a words, just it should be on the one line, not like here. Or here we can see a lot of text in the different boxes. It's really hard to understand for visual perception. And the image ratio on the slide is an important thing too. So a person better perceives images of the same size, more or less symmetrical, not like this, or like this, or like this, or like this one. So we'll stop criticizing slides and we'll go to the next step, is a knowledge of the material or topic. Try to speak only on the topics that you are good at. Excellent knowledge of the material is essential. Be an expert in your subject. Do not forget that the content of your presentation must correspond to the declared title. And what do you think is the biggest problem for all presenters? Of course, it's compliance with the timing. It's a problem at every session that I usually attend. So here is an internal problem for all times and people. Remember that you simply do not have any right to make a presentation longer than the time stated in the program. So compliance with the timing is a respect to your colleagues. So, and to be compliant with the timing, you should know how to set the priorities. We understood what information we want to share with the audience, but how to do that, how to set the priorities. Usually my best advice is to make a presentation. Let's say it's 100% of slides, and then do 80%. So just delete 10 slides or 5 slides, depending on what the type of presentation, like it's lecture or scientific reports. You will have some time for the technical problems, for the problems with your laptop or technicians, or with the visuals, like your video doesn't run or something like this. So you will be calm because you know that you have 5 minutes left for all of these problems. So if you can't delete your slides, it's really difficult to do. When you create a presentation, you like it, you love your presentation, you can't delete anything. Just ask your colleague. They usually do it very fast. So the key is to create a really good presentation as a briefness, and internal logic. If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. It's a famous quote. So the rule is the brevity as the soul of wit. So visualization helps people to perceive an information, and everything that will keep the audience in attention throughout the whole presentation. It's a visuals, images, videos, quotes, animations, and other things you can put in your presentation to get the attention of the audience during the whole presentation you do. So do not repeat what is written on the slides. People can read text on the slides, so you will be useless. But I want you to know that actually it's you, not the slides, not video content, not a screenshot are the center of attention. In fact, the main value of the conference is not the presentation itself, it's communication. It's communication with the speaker. And usually people spend time, effort, travel to another city for communication. like we have today. So keep attention, control, and maintain audience perception. So do not sleep. Ask questions for understanding and verify that you did not lost any of those who are sitting in the room. But I want you, so the public speech, yes. And actually the main problem of the public speech is a fear. So when you are a center of attention, it's always about the fear. It's one of the most serious problems for most of the speakers. So fear kills everything. The pleasure of the speaking, the impression, it kills the confidence and does not allow us to get the result that we would like. So here are the clues how to overcome the fear to present. It's about the knowledge of your topic, as I said before. So when you know your topic very well, fear is always less. So it's about the auto training. So you need to calm yourself, of course, and you need to think about that the world does not turn around you. So people come usually to take the information that they don't think about how you present. So keep calm, and you should be confident and speak loudly, clearly, and everything is going to be okay. So don't be late, come early, check everything twice according to the technical part, come down and don't be in a rush. When you are in a rush, when you have no time to check your presentation, it's always a fear. So do not try to overcome the fear. Actually, the action itself usually stop it. Usually it's a 5 minutes about the fear, and then you can calm yourself and speak slowly and present. So the theory of the 10,000 hours, I think everyone here know about this theory. So practice, of course, is a key to success. The theory says that if you want to learn something well enough, you should devote at least 10,000 hours to train this. Therefore, prepared speech is always better than spontaneous speech or improvisation. So writing your notes on a piece of paper kills the presentation. So this is the theory of 10,000 hours, and train yourself and think about nonverbal communication. So it's the language of gestures, or the rule of 7, 38, and 55. It's 7% words, 38% of tone, and 55% of gestures. This is the rule which saying that in this percent, the usual people perceive the information. Only 7% of words, 38% of tone, and 55% of gestures. So nonverbal communication, 83% of perception by the audience. So the next rule is to make yourself comfortable. So be comfortable with your suite, with your shoes, how you look like. You should be really comfortable during your presentation. And what is the most interesting part of the performance? What do you think, guys? Of course, question answer part is the most interesting thing, because it shows the understanding of your presentation by the audience. It reveals the unexpected, usually weak, but sometimes not, places of the technology or study or work design. And it shows the speaker's competence or lack of it. So this is the take-home message, 10 most common mistakes. Of course, first one is a poor presentation quality. It's insufficient preparation, ignorance of the audience. It's excessive information in a short time when you should speak very, very, very quickly. And you would like to tell everything you know just in 10 minutes. This is a bad idea, actually. So set the priorities. Lack of the disclosure of the topic, non-compliance with the timing. It's really, really bad thing to do. And inoperative equipment or technology, incorrect or unacceptable dress code, and lack of contact with the audience, also known as telling to yourself. And of course, it's excitement and fear that we should overcome. So my last advice for today is, if you want to present well, you should present. Thank you so much. This is the end of my presentation. If you have any question, it's a great pleasure for me to answer.
Thank you so much. Seda, it's a very great presentation. I consider that if I listened to this presentation before, I changed my presentation today. Okay, do we have any
so
question?
No chance for that.
Yeah,
I have the first one.
Yeah. Any question?
I have some words. Could I? Yeah.
Of course.
I think I want to repeat the words of Zerslav about it was really outstanding presentation, speech. I think it's a really fundamental date for researchers, for students, and for doctors who want to speak and who want to be well known in our society. And of course, your speech, I think, has set on the right direction our mind wave. And I have one question. Could you say, please, maybe you have some tips and tricks how to start? Because it's really my problem. I'm a great procrastinator. Yeah, and maybe you have some tips how to start your presentation.
What do you mean by start? How to motivate yourself, or how to start the presentation itself, like creating slides?
Yeah. The second part. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I think Rima wanted to ask how to start performance, like talking in public.
Can I sit on my chair? I'll continue here. So I really think that the first slides I said that if you want to present, first thing you need to do is you should want to present. So the people or now doctors, we're talking about doctors who make a presentation should be a person who wants to go on the scene and present. As I said, we have a lot of different ways for sharing information today, like professional groups, websites where we can text or put our video cases or everything. We have a lot of in our surgical society, a lot of professional groups, and of course, social media for that. So today, in the era of the social media, for example, or online learning,
definitely, yeah.
To go to the scene, to the podium, and to present, you really have to want it. So if you want to present, then you should, of course, have problems with the fear, with the setting of priorities, with the timing, and so on. And I guess that the problem of the bad presentation is that we have the bad examples actually during the conferences. So please note the speakers who present really good, how they make a presentation, how they speak. We have a lot of TED Talks on the YouTube. We have a lot of possibilities today. Like if we are talking about 10 or 15 years ago, we do not have these possibilities to watch the great presenters like today. So please watch them, motivate yourself, and no one will tell you, so go and present today. So you need to have this idea inside of you, this goal inside of you. And I hope that many participants in this audience will leave this conference hall with a goal to go and present and make really good presentations. Make it simple. Actually, the clue to success is make the presentation simple and short.
And they have some example for you. Who is the best? Who is a great presenter? Who's the best speaker?
Actually, a lot of people on YouTube, TED Talks are the great presenters, which motivated me many years ago to like 10 years ago, maybe to present. But if I talk
in
about
Russian area, maybe.
In Russian area, it's really hard to name. Like I think the great presenters we had during in the Congress Hall today during endoscopy session, really great one with a beautiful presentation. Everyone there were admired by them. So, and during surgical session as well, I think that Rostislav can say that he attended the gastric surgery session.
Yeah.
We had the Sergei Baido and other speakers who are really good at presentations.
Thank you so much.
So welcome. And I want to introduce our next speaker, Stislav, who'll go to the stage.
We have a question from audience.
Sure.
Yeah.
How many times to practice at home, or if you want to present, you should go and present. Do not wait for a moment when you are excellent. It's never going to be like this. So you should present one time, second time, and many, many, many times to become excellent.
Like
so
10,000 hours.
Like I said, do not wait for a best moment in your life. So I will train myself, then I go to present. No, it's never happened like this. It doesn't work. So you go and present. Then you, I will advise you to record your presentation, or just someone to record if the surgical conference do not have this technical possibility to record and for you to watch afterwards. So ask your colleague to record. For many years, I recorded my presentations and then I watched them. And when I just text all my mistakes, and I was working on my mistakes. So improve yourself with each presentation. You should work on your mistakes. Like maybe 10 years ago, my speech was very, very fast, and it's really bad for perception for the audience. So I try to train myself to speak slowly, clearly, and to shorten my presentation. And my presentation was longer. Really, it's a lot of slides for a short time, like 10 minutes, and you speak faster, fluently, and it make the perception of presentation really bad for the audience. So these was my main mistakes maybe, but I can say that if I'm talking about me, I think my colleagues would share their experience. I love to present from the first time, from the 50, 60 years. I love to present and talk to the audience and to communicate with people. So this is maybe the internal my internal feelings or skills. But if you would like to present, it's always a great to come to the podium and to share your information you can share with the audience.
I think it's not so easy to understand what benefits do the presenter get from the presentation, because it's always challenging. It is hard. You should overcome your fear, and you should find words, and you should be like, you should not be afraid of talking. So what do you think is?
I always tell to my residents that if after your presentation, you are really motivated, it's really like exchange of the energy with the audience. If you feel this, if you leave the conference hall yourself with a feeling that you want to do something new, to create the next presentation, to come to the stage once again, you should present, you should continue. Even if you made a lot of mistakes, if you have this internal feeling that like, I had a bad presentation, they always told me, oh, it was a mistake, it was really bad. But if they have a feeling that I want to present once again, it's really good.
So it looks like it's not about the topic of presentation. It's something about the person who presents.
Of course. So as I said, you have the something you want to share with the audience, something you want to share with your audience, and you think about your audience. So you're not writing the slides, you're not telling to yourself, interact with audience. It's important for you to share your information, to communicate with people. So this is the